Thank y'all for following the page and for loving Carl and for loving and accepting me with all of my flaws and insecurities. Carl's gonna dance for you all. Let's dance, Carl. If anyone can see me now. Woo! Carl likes the shirt. That's his mating dance, by the way. So I'm gonna get away from here while I can. And I hate that I have lost the ability to read through the comments without it triggering things. But I'm hoping to fix that. Jamie said you can't control the culture of a page. And I says, you watch. You watch.
Carl! Our big This is a fun game.
Jamie, keep your perversions to yourself.
Longhorn Lester and Travolta Carl, the beginning of a beautiful bromance. Well, that's spot on. Adam or Steve?
I feel myself getting emotional, and I don't know why. I haven't even opened it yet. But I guess the reason that I'm feeling emotional is because I spent 20 minutes of your time telling you how hateful some of you can be. And then God comes and slaps me in the face and says, hey, wake up, you fool. And so as far as that shout out, I guess I'll give you the shout out. Hey, what's up, Alana? Lester here. Just saying what up here on my farm. Okay, I don't know how to do shout outs. Guys, that's like a kid thing, a teenager thing. Shout out and doing all the fingers and I don't even know what I'm doing, okay? So I'm not one to give shout outs. Hey folks, good morning. Lester here, and I'm coming to you this morning from our family cemetery. It's probably one of the most peaceful spots that we have here on Morrow Hill, and it's no surprise why my grandfather wanted to make this spot be his final resting place. Now, I will say there's something more significant about this spot, and that which you may not know. My grandfather wanted to be buried right on the fence line that divides my uncle and my dad's property. When he picked a spot to be buried, you know, it would obviously be tough on one son or the other had he chosen this side or that side, because there's a lot of really nice spots around where one could be buried. But no, he wanted to be buried right along the fence line, and so this is the spot that he chose. I know you can't see from your perspective, but you can look straight down from here, and this is actually the dividing line between what was my dad's property and my uncle's property, my Uncle Raleigh. Now, obviously, you know, Dad has begun to divide up property to me and Daniel, but my Uncle Raleigh and my dad are very blessed to both have they've never had any kind of issues because of the fact that my grandpa would have chosen one side over the other, or one piece of property over the other. So anyway, that was a little bit of a small tidbit you probably had no idea about. I'm sitting here today without the babies. Now, I know you can probably see them in the background, and they're wondering, why not? What did we do wrong? Dad, please don't do this to us. But I've noticed that when I include the babies in the videos for the gifting goodies, not only do they create quite the ruckus, quite the mess, but they have also begin to kind of eat out of some of the things that we want to recycle, some of the plastic and some of the cardboard boxes, not to mention some of the letters, and things have been broken from the back of the side-by-side by those little munchkins. So if you don't mind, they will be in the background. Today's not about them, though, as much as it is about you and us, and how blessed we are to have you guys as friends and family of these pages. These babies are living their best lives. I want to say this again, and I cannot say it enough, that these babies are living their best lives. Not because of Lester and Jamie and the things that Ellie and Jake does, or Papa or anybody else. It's because of you that they really and truly are so very blessed. Ellie made a video recently, and it talked about things that you might not realize if you want to, you know, at some point open your own rescue. It's a very admirable thing to do, And so Ellie kind of went by some of the hard parts about farm life that you may not be familiar with, because it is a great lifestyle, but it's not for everybody. And it's one thing to imagine the fun parts of the farm life and raising the animals, bringing them in, getting them to trust and to love. But Ellie's video focused a whole lot on the amount of work that it takes that we don't always video, because there's not a reason to have your camera going 24 hours a day, because who's going to want to sit there and watch the work? We have made a couple of videos about that, just some of the mundane chores or some of the different jobs that we have to do. But for the most part, that's not really what you come for. You just come for the babies. And so in saying so, this is a little bit about the babies and all that they are blessed with because of you guys. And I say the babies, sometimes you do things for me and Jamie and the family that's also equally that we receive that blessing. We ask you not to. We ask you not to. God, I have said it so many times. It's important to us that you give to yourselves and to your families first before you pay a blessing forward to ours. But some of you guys are hard-headed and you insist, and so I'm not going to go on that little soapbox. So thank you very much. I have probably 15 or 20 things here. I did open one thing already, and I want to show it to you. It is a t-shirt, but what's crazy about it is it shows a record, which is a broken record, and it has a picture of me, and I'm repeating, Carl, 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 Carl. And so how funny is that? I don't know why I say Carl so much, but every video about Carl, I seem to overly use his name. It's been referred to as a broken record. And now I have a shirt to show that broken record. I believe the shirt will fit. Now it's gonna be a little tight because I'm already wearing an undershirt, and I will not get naked for you again. I about never heard the end of that last time that happened. Yeah, a lot of folks were offended that Lester would have pulled his shirt off, and they reminded me of my age. And guys my age don't do that. Okay, it's a little snug, but you know what? It is what it is. Thank you very much. I like the way it shows my arms and my chest. I'm gonna have a little issue until I can get rid of this belly. Hey, here's something kind of funny. Jamie told me this, and I hope she wasn't just lying to make me feel good. You know, but I've been a little bit bothered. Getting older is tough. Everyone who's gone through that, oh my God. Oh, I did not know what this was until now. I took off the box, but I did not realize what this was until now. Guys, this is not cool. This is ridiculous, actually. This, okay, this is cool, but it's unnecessary. This is I'm not saying it's bulletproof, but it's some kind of protective vest that you would wear if you were going into a situation that needed certain body organs protected. And I don't think it's Kevlar necessarily, because it'd be a lot heavier. Or maybe you fit those metal pieces into this thing somewhere. I don't know. I've never had this before, but I feel like a SWAT team or some kind of special forces guy. Well, besides the red shirt, which is an obvious, you would never do that in special forces. But hey, anyway, you know, I already built myself something like this for when I go in that pasture with Carl. Y'all have been so worried about me getting myself hurt from Carl, and I appreciate that. I really do. So thank you very much. Now this next one, not real sure exactly the what or the why behind it, but so I see a couple of things in this box. The first one I see, guys, hey, look at this. I hope there's a letter attached. Someone has taken some screenshots, it looks like, of the entire Carl hat experience. I believe I only shared this on the supporter only page. I may have put it on YouTube. So, oh, Carl. I love Carl. The backing has come off just a little bit, so I'm going to stick it back how it belongs. I love Carl so much, and he has become a major focus around here. So thank you for that. I have a really neat place for this. You know, they also sent some tortillas, and I'm certain it's because they must have seen the video where Carl likes to eat the tortillas. Darn it, there's no card. And then of course there's one last thing here, and it's these really cool Texas gloves. I'm going to attempt to put these on right now. These are very similar to the athletic gear that football players wear in cold weather, where they can still do all they have to do, but they don't get their hands frostbitten or jammed as easily from football. Now I know I'm pretty much putting together bits and pieces of what's going on here. And I think that anyone who's been in tune with our videos about Carl will know exactly what's going on here. You're worried about Carl ripping out my inners, gutting me, if you will, across the pasture, while I attempt to hand feed him his favorite snacks. And you also are equally concerned about me losing a finger. So I will say thank you very much. There's no name. Man, I would really like to give credit where credit is due. So for the photograph, the picture, oh, here we go. Look, on the top of the envelope, there's something. Or on top of the package, there's an envelope. Let me cut it open and see a little bit about it. I have, I'm just getting over a cold. I know you can hear it in my voice. It's not COVID. I did go get tested last week when I first began to feel the symptoms. So it's not COVID. Believe it or not, there is such a thing as a summer cold, guys, and I have one of those. I didn't bring any glasses. Okay. So this is a very short, it's like, I was afraid that I had cut it in half with my box cutters. Lester and Jamie, here's a little something I made up for you when you were showing Carl your hat. The frame is round. It's round, a teacher's chalkboard. Oh, it is. Okay. Where you're a retired teacher. Oh, so they actually put a lot of thought into that. And we can still learn new things from you every day. The video of you feeding Carl cheese balls and you kept getting your hand nipped. It doesn't hurt. It's scary, but it doesn't hurt. LOL. Hence the Texas gloves. Carl did pretty good running with the tortillas, and so I got some more for him. I love your slogan. We're all survivors of something. I could go on and on about my troubles, but in my 24 plus years of sobriety, think about that. We have never mentioned that before. It's true, when we talk about how we're all survivors of something, normally we talk about we're survivors of divorce. We're survivors of losing a loved one. We're survivors of some kind of medical issue. We're survivors of just life's ups and downs. You know, the tropical storms, the floods, the fires that destroys our homes, and we have to push and overcome, learning to rebuild. But I haven't really thought about that, but man, isn't that the truth? There's also people who are survivors of addictions, and addictions come in so many forms and fashions. In this case, it may have been alcohol abuse and alcohol addiction. And so 24 years of sobriety, wow, and bless you. I've had my ups and downs like everybody's. She had to say her goodbyes to mom and dad. I just had my third back surgery in 5 years, and I'm only at the age of 52. This one has ended my career. a job I loved for 15 years. Wow. She talks about for every negative comment, make sure I notice the positives and let those positives outweigh those negatives. And I will just say this a little right now, if you don't mind. And I'm sorry, I said she. This is actually he. This is from Steve. And I believe it says Steve R. And Steve, I want to thank you for this for a couple of reasons. You put a lot of thought into it. And so for the babies who are going to get those tortillas a little bit later, they're all staring at me over there. I appreciate that. For being so thoughtful with the photos and the gloves and your concern and worry about me getting my hands nipped. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for recognizing, you know, and acknowledging how difficult life has been for you and for other people. And I'm just going to say this. I don't know the best way to say it. But as far as the comments go, the negative comments, the negative Nancys, if you will, the Karens, as people like to refer. Guys, I'm just human. And my nature as a human is I'm very empathetic to a lot of people. And I haven't always been that way, but that's kind of the way life has shaped me to be a lot more empathetic. An example of that is after Hurricane Harvey, and I'd gone through what I still call a rock bottom of my life. When I returned back to school, I realized I was a whole lot better teacher than I was before Hurricane Harvey happened. And what I mean by that is I begin to understand that these kids in my classroom, the ones that I used to get on to for this and holler at that and raise my fist and shout and scream because of no homework and really minor things in the whole scheme of life, many of these kids are also going through their own versions of rock bottom. And I never realized that. I never thought about them or the teachers you pass in the hall that don't say hello back when you greet them, and how I thought, what an ass, or what a biatch, you know, whatever. And then you sometimes don't realize that they're probably also struggling. And so I became, I think, a better man by being more empathetic. But what's happened in all of that is something that is still difficult to talk about. But I become overly empathetic to where I want to make everybody happy. I want to make everybody feel good. I want to give everybody some encouragement and some positivity. And so when I go and I read the comments that you refer to and I see the negative ones, it's true, and I'm guilty. I can read 10 positive comments, 10 comments about things like your letter, a thank you, or how blessed you are to have run across the page, how it offers you an escape. I can read those, and then I come across that one person who says something negative, or how I'm doing this wrong or that wrong, or I'm a disgrace to farmers, and all of a sudden, the people pleaser in me begins to allow that to overshadow. Now, don't sit there and say, Lester, you got to get over that. Lester, you got to get past that. It's not that easy. It's not that easy, because here's what's happened. Those negative comments, even though they only number a few out of the dozens of positive, they affect me. They come over me, and that empathetic side of me begins to feel like I'm not able to please everybody. And then it leads to more of the depression, more of the effects of the depression. It puts me into a slump. And when I get into a slump, I lose my creativity. I don't want to make a video. I'm kind of like, screw these people. Sorry. I don't mean most of you, because most of you are great. And most of you, when I say most, I'll just say 95%. But the problem is inside of me, probably here. The other 5% are those people that just want to throw rocks and kick stones and beat and bash and burn. And I can't seem to stop myself from focusing on that. So when I was going through a really, really rough time, and I was having to see somebody, and this doctor helped me, and she says, you have to remove yourself from what triggers, from the triggers. There's things in life that trigger these emotions in you. And so she said, you have to remove yourself from those moments. And so I'm not saying this in a disrespectful way, and I know that many of my family members are going to see this video, but one of the first things that I did was remove myself from a lot of family events. Now, don't get me wrong. I love my family. I'll do anything for my family. Mom and dad, you know, are getting older, and my brothers and sisters and my nieces and nephews. But when we would have big family events, I began to realize that I felt more alone around my family than I did if I was home alone. Holidays and special occasions, and I felt like I would show up and the whole demeanor of the house would change. And maybe that was just my imagination, but it was a trigger. It was a trigger to putting me into a slump that I couldn't get out of. And I would come back home after such event, and I would just be in an entire funk. And that wasn't the only thing. There were other things around work and around other people that would also trigger things inside of me. And so, but my doctor saying you have to remove yourself from things that trigger you and trigger these emotions in you, that was hard. And I have not been back to a family event or a family function since. And that's been years. So, you know, spending Christmas, spending Thanksgiving, missing birthdays. I know already the judgmental people are going to start screaming and hollering about how shame on you, Lester, shame on you, Lester. Well, thank God you've never experienced it. But at the same time, any of you out there that have experienced, let's not say betrayal, that's such a harsh word, but rejection from your own family, I think you know exactly where I'm going here. How many of you also sat at a family event or a family function and you find yourself sitting in the corner or being pushed off to the kid table, not being included in conversations? When you are speaking, someone talks louder and takes over the conversation. It's like no one cares if you're there, or they don't care if you're not. And so, if my family members are watching this is no secret. I mean, it's no secret, but it's probably something that they would not want to have talked about. But in saying so, reading these comments, the negative comments, it makes me just want to not read comments. I wish I had the mind control to focus on those. But instead, I keep replaying those 5 over and over and over. And so now you're going to say, Lester, don't give power to those people. Okay. I've changed my mind a little bit about some things recently, mostly because of Carl. I have decided to go ahead and do what everybody and their mother has advised me to do. Block, ban, delete, remove. And then you're going to say, Lester, wait, we're not entitled to an opinion? Google is, don't play dumb. Google is not an expert. Guys, how many remember WebMD? Now that might be a great site. It might have saved a life here and there, I don't know. But what it could also do is take something that was actually very minor and make you feel that your world was coming to an end. In saying so, guys, Google cannot be your source of information on everything. I've told my mom and my dad to stop reading comments. Now, mom and dad are both retired, and they both like to help. They like to feel a part of the page. But as a parent, when you sit there and you're reading comments trying to help your son manage and run his page, the social media part of his farm, and you keep seeing people throwing rocks or cursing or saying derogatory things about your son, as a parent, you don't allow that. You don't. And at some point, enough is enough. And my mom and my dad have both had to take breaks from social media because of some of you. And so then the son who's trying to realize that you live in a glass house, you open yourself up to criticism, blah, blah, blah. I start taking it personal that my mom and my dad are so upset. Sister Kim is telling me these things that you're saying to her are about me. And I think, you have people lost all sense of class and dignity? And we've had a family meeting, and in that family meeting, it is real simple. To Sister Kim, who helps with all of the emails, to my loving mom and dad who help with the comments, Jamie's mom that also sometimes helps with comments, who all love to be a part of the page. If you've noticed that no one's replying or responding to your comments, it's because you've probably been blocked. You can't see it on your end, but we see it on our end. And when we block you, you can still see the videos, but hey, I'm not able to comment. I can't say anything mean. We're done with all of that. I was telling Rick in a video recently, Rick and I were chit-chatting, and I told Rick that I don't want to take people away from the page because I feel like sometimes the videos can be therapeutic and healing to people that need that escape. And so I would just advise those people, enjoy the videos, but if you cannot find something positive to say, if you can't share an anecdotal story about your life and how this applies, or what you've learned from your experiences and how this in a way helps you, or if you can't think of anything nice to say, then do what my grandmother says and just don't say it. It's not hard to just X out of a video. You've all learned that the little X in that right corner or that left corner, depending on which kind of computer you're using or phone, you can just skip the video. I have wasted so much of your gift and goodie time talking about this. Hey, it's been on my chest, and this very first box opened up this whole can of worms, if you will. I'm going to get back. Thank you very much for all of these gifts. I can't wait to walk over and share these with the babies and Carl, and I'm going to wear these awesome gloves. These will also come in handy when I drive my bus in the winter. We have another box. It actually comes to Lester tomorrow, but it says fragile. So we're going to be real careful here when we open this thing up. All right, what have we here? Okay, it says darkness will soon come early. I hope this light will help. Also, there is one video I'll never forget. Guess which one? The clue is in the black package. Here's the black package. Let's go ahead and find out what is the favorite of videos, one that this person will never forget. There's not a name yet, and I hope to gosh there's a name on this. So there's going to be a clue in this package, and you all are going to be able to help me figure it out together. That's what I love about this. We're doing this together. I really love the fact that people find entertainment and love and joy in these videos. And remember, that's what we're here for, guys. I've made that video too. Entertainment purposes only. There's not a whole lot I can teach you. Now, this is all in some kind of foreign language. I'm sure that's Chinese or Japanese or Korean. But I want to give you every chance to figure out what this thing is, because I don't know. It says here in English, you have to charge this 3 hours before use. Does anyone know what this is? And does anyone think they can figure out what is this lady's or man's favorite video based upon the clue in this package? I'm oh, okay, hold on. A toothbrush sterilizer. So, boy, I'm about to embarrass Jamie in this one. I don't know if this is exactly what you're referring to, but there was a video I made where I got on to Jamie because when I came in the morning to brush my teeth, my toothbrush was wet. my toothbrush was wet. And Jamie had used my toothbrush. Even though it sounds gross, I hope she used it to brush her teeth and nothing else. So that is a toothbrush sterilizer. Now, someone help me if I'm off, but was there another video that could apply more to? What is this? Hey, I think I know what this is. So, yeah, well, this is what I thought it was. So this is a light that has a selfie stick attached to it. It could also be used in making videos when it's already after hours. And so, could it be that someone sent this to record the animals at night? Because a lot of people have asked to see a video of how the babies sleep and their nighttime routine. I'm still hoping to find a letter of some sort. I do see one last little thing over here. Well, okay, even though this says to Lester, it says it very clearly to Lester. Lester Mar. Oh! It does say Lester and Jamie. I didn't even read that. That is a little bag full of pearls. That's a bag full of pearls. So I'm going to make sure that Jamie is able to see that. Well, my gosh, Lester, it says it right there. Jamie. Okay. Okay, all is not lost. All is not lost. We can open this one together. Thank you. Now, here we go. So, it comes from Adabelle Rodriguez. She's up in Dallas. Dallas is about 4 hours from here, and she did put fragile on there. And so thank you, Adabelle. It was delivered safely. I'm sorry you had to see me open it, not Jamie. But Jamie might have a better idea of the why behind this one once I show it to her. And I will do that when I get to the house. All right, here we go. It says to Lester and Jamie and the fur babies. It has been taped up really well. Someone did not want this thing to get damaged either in transport or once it got here and on the side-by-side all week. All right, Mr. Lester, Miss Jamie. So what we have in the bags, oh, I feel a hat. Wait, that's that broken record again. Is this from the same person? This has to be from the same sender as the red shirt that I have on. It has to be. It has to be, because how could someone come up with the same broken record? Wait a minute. It's all over the place. It's everywhere, guys. This whole broken record thing is everywhere. What does this say? Oh my goodness. Hold on. Wait a minute. This is funny. Can y'all see that? Oh, Lester, look at those abs. This is really funny. Then there's some animal crackers for the babies. Let's go to the card. Let's go to the card. Thank you so much for the nice things you do, for your thoughtfulness too, for just being you. This is from the Mileys, the Miley family. Mr. Lester, Miss Jamie, and to the fur babies. A few days ago, I sent you a package with a new clock. We got that. The first one got broken shipping about a month ago. Yes, we did get that second clock. And I sent a shirt for Mr. Lester. Ha ha ha. I just realized I put the decal on the lady's shirt, so I have enclosed a new one on a man's shirt, but with matching hat, Mr. Lester. So when you read the white shirt, do it in a sexy voice. Well, the most sexy voice that I can do would be Sean Connery. So let's try this again with my Sean Connery voice. My Sean Connery, who's struggling through a summer cold. Oh, Lester, look at those abs. That sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, hold on. Oh, Lester, look at those abs. That still sounds like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, my Sean Connery's not working today. But Sean Connery, I think he passed away, darn it. He was, and probably still is, well, if I had a man crush, it would probably be on Sean Connery. I think he's British. I'm pretty sure he was British. And I'm pretty sure he passed away last year. What a great actor, and what an amazing voice. Oh, I wish I had his voice. Oh, Lester, look at those abs. I'm sorry. I know I've let you down with this one. Let me get this thing cleared up. Hey, believe it or not, there's people who think that this voice is sexy. There's somebody that put in a comment a while back, one of those positive comments, one of those 95%ers that talked about how they could listen to my videos all day. Oh, they like my dad's voice too. I don't know if they're making fun of us or not, but that was really nice. All right, moving through this. Thank you for the shirt and the clock and for the hat and all the broken record stuff. So to Jamie, and there's a card for Lester. I'm gonna just hold off on that. I think that Jamie should open it if it's for her. This here says though, just to Lester, and it's from Marjorie. Now she also did a really fine job in wrapping this thing up, which means it's probably breakable. Let's hope it arrived okay in transport. Man, it sure is wrapped. Here we go. So here's a letter. Oh my goodness, it's a little piggy bank, look. But it's an actual piggy bank, and there's no way money comes out of that one. So you put it in, and it's there forever. Guys, this thing is solid steel. This is metal. This is metal. Whatever you put inside here is never coming out, unless you got a cutting torch. And that means never. There's another one. Oh, wow, it's a pig with a hook. So I'm gonna warn you right now, the card says private. I can see the word private in big bold letters, and so I am gonna skip the part that says private, but I will read a small part of it before the private part starts. I will let you know that when I never want to embarrass anybody. And there's many people that have stories that they want to share. They want to get off their chest. They want to talk about. And sometimes they have a hard time doing so by being embarrassed that maybe someone may see it or hear it who they don't want to hear it. It's like myself when I told my story just now about the fact of the reasons why I don't do a whole lot of stuff with the family. I mean, that would be a bit embarrassing, I think. But what the reason I even told you that was because in my mind, it's therapeutic to get things off my chest. But even more so, I think there may be a whole lot of you who feel the same way, and you probably would never be able to tell somebody that. And so anyway, it's sometimes hard to talk about certain things. To Lester. I've had this pig for a very long time. It is wonderful how you love and care for your pigs in clean, open areas with other animals. Pig Trudy's a great animal. She was the one that seemed genuinely concerned with you as you lay motionless on the ground. She loves your game of running the fence. So you remember that video? That was a lot of fun when I pretended to pass out in the pasture. And for the most part, all the animals just went on about their business. But it was Pig Trudy and a few others who came to me and stood over me to protect me and to nudge at me to see if I was going to wake up and feed them. Or to see if I was okay. The hook with the flying pig reminds me of Lola. I just found this at our local market in the park. Maybe you can enjoy it in the barn dominium. So thank you, Marjorie. And the rest of this, the private part, ma'am, I will give you my word that I will read it. I'll make sure I do that later on when I have some quiet time. And I have said this 100 times, and I'll say it many more, that what I get the most enjoyment out of when it comes to interactions with you all, or letters. I see one here in the bottom of the side-by-side waiting to be read, and I will do that in a few minutes. But it's the letters, y'all. It's whenever I can read about your stories in your life. And maybe because I missed the teaching part, maybe I've always been a livid reader. Avid or livid? Not livid, avid. A reader, that I love to hear your stories. I love to read the comments when they talk about your stories and how they relate and things that you've experienced. And I hate that I have lost the ability to read through the comments without it triggering things. But I'm hoping to fix that. Jamie said, you can't control the culture of a page. And I says, you watch. Yeah, no. Jamie says, you cannot control the culture of a page. Not on the internet. And I says, you watch. And here's what I mean by that. I don't think that you understand how much it affects me to see such negative things. And so I'm not saying that you need to fill up the page with all kinds of BS just to make Lester feel good. Don't do that. I can see a fake. Yeah, you can see a fake in a heartbeat. People can read a fake in a heartbeat. Don't try to build my self-esteem up. But if you're watching a video and you want to, and you make a connection, that's what we call it in school. You make a connection to literature or through a video or a movie, then tell me about that connection. Talk about your life, about your story. You know, if you want to just say thank you for this or for that, then that's fine too. But I don't need the page full of that. Don't BS me, okay? I would rather open up a video and see it only has 10 comments instead of 1,000 full of BS. I don't know. I still don't think I did a very good job at explaining myself at all. But I want to get back to where the page used to be. There was a time when Jamie and I, for 2 years, would sit on the porch with our coffee. We'd sit inside the house in the afternoons, and the page was a lot smaller then. And there were about 100 comments, and we would read and reply to every single one of them. And that was when there was just, the page was only being received by people that found it or needed it. And as the page has grown and the audience has, it's gained more of a reach, a global reach. Now it's being, people are finding the videos because maybe someone shared it with them, but they have no idea about what we really do here and what we stand for here. And so to them, they have no qualms with saying mean things because they don't know who's who. Okay, so this is obviously comes from a little guy. Hi, Lester. Oh, it's from a young lady. Hi, Lester. My name is Alana. I live in Tennessee, and I love to farm. Good. I am 14 years old, and I have 2 goats and a dog and a horse. Oh, and a donkey. When I grow up, I want to be a farmer. I love the outdoors. Ringo, Annie, Ivy, Dan, and Tex, and all the other babies. I love your videos, and I would love to see more videos about Ringo and Tex. Please write back or give me a shout out in your video. Thank you for the drawing. It has gotten wet, Alana, and I saw that the marker has smeared a little bit. And so as far as that shout out, I guess I'll give you the shout out. Hey, what's up, Alana? Lester here. Just saying what up here on my farm. Okay, I don't know how to do shout outs. Guys, that's like a kid thing, a teenager thing. Shout out and doing all the fingers and I don't even know what I'm doing, okay? So I'm not one to give shout outs. I appreciate the letter, and I love the fact that when you grow up, because you love animals and you love the outdoors, you want to also continue the farm life. So what we call it is a hobby farm. There's different kinds of farmers. Traditionally, what you're used to in a farmer is someone that raises their own plants and their own food, okay? Their own animals and their own, they live off of the land, if you will. They live off of the animals. They drink the goat's milk. They make butter out of the cow's milk. That's like a churn. I don't know what. Okay. So there's a lot of folks that farm for those purposes. They gather eggs and and whatnot, and that's what Now we do hobby farming here. So a hobby farmer is a little bit different than what you're used to. A hobby farmer is someone that has the ability to have you have the resources and the land and the amount of money it takes to have the animals, but you don't farm them to eat ever. And so that's what we do here. We have explained several times, Alana, how animals help me maintain the pastures. If it weren't for the goats to eat all of the brush, the briars, the thorns, the weeds, that stuff would grow so thick, and I would either have to mow it, but guys, there's hundreds of acres here, and you cannot mow all of that, or B, it would end up taking over the pastures, and that's just impossible. So I choose to go ahead and let the goats eat as much of that stuff as possible. My dad lets his goats free roam around his property. My goats, I don't like them to free roam because the road is too close. And I'm pointing at the road over here now, and there's been some houses that built over here that have dogs that live outside of the yards and without a leash. And those dogs many times come into my pastures to try to find a quick and easy meal, or they just love to chase the animals. So I have to be very careful letting my animals free roam. Pig Lola is the only one that free roams right now, and that in itself has been very scary for me because I don't want her to go off somewhere and get herself hurt. But thank you, Alana, for that, and I hope that shout out is similar to what you were hoping for. I do have several more things to open, but I'm afraid that I'm going way over time. And when I say time, it's just the fact that this is for Jamie. Here we go. This is to I'm a Survivor from a Jamie. And look what it says. Blessings come back in small, shiny packages. I guess that this person knows that even at my age, and even though I'm a man, I still get excited when I see a shiny package. All right, so the thing says, hello, just thought this would be cute to place on the mower deck where she always sat. Oh, this is gonna be about Journey. I'm a fan of your page. I'm also, so we're not fans here, we're family. We are a part of a social media network or a family, okay? We don't do fans, and we're not those kind of people to have fans. I'm a family member, okay? I'm also a nurse at Liberty of Mansfield. I brought this idea up to a patient, and he has a machine to make signs in his room. He made this for me to gift to you. Thank you for all that you do. And I feel myself getting emotional, and I don't know why. I haven't even opened it yet. But I guess the reason that I'm feeling emotional is because I spent 20 minutes of your time telling you how hateful some of you can be. And then God comes and slaps me in the face and says, hey, wake up, you fool. That actually scratched my eye. He says, wake up, you fool. I wish I could just get past some of that negativity without it affecting everybody else. All right, here we go. That's sweet. Journey sits here. And I will most definitely go home and put that on the side of the mower, which will be a forever reminder of that her favorite sitting place. She used to sit like such a lady. She'd cross her little legs. I'm a little embarrassed. All right, let's put that away. Lester, put those emotions away. Look, I got a shirt. Oh, We have a new nickname, guys. So you've all heard of Longhorn Lester. That's the guy who likes to man up and never cry. But we also now have Travolta Carl, the beginning of a beautiful bromance. Now, I don't know if I would call it a bromance. Hey, Carl. He's there behind me. Carl. Travolta Carl. That's funny. Was there a letter? There was a letter. So, it says, "Hi, Lester. I love watching all your videos on YouTube. They cheer me up after a long day at work. I'm really enjoying your developing bromance with Carl and thought this gift would solidify your journey of learning each other's habits together. Thank you, Anne Tibbats from the UK." I hope I said your name right. I probably should have used my Sean Connery voice when I read this. But I feel like it's just not working for me today. So that comes all the way from the UK. That's crazy because that was expensive. Number one, you had to have that special made. Number two, you had to go through all the trouble of doing all of the custom stuff to ship it here. And it makes me feel very humbled and blessed that you, after a long day's of work, you come home and enjoy watching the videos of Carl and our developing bromance. I do love him a lot more than he loves me. Uh-oh. I love Carl a lot more than he loves me. Or does he not love me? No, he does love me. Here's what I'm saying. Carl enjoys what he does with me. I can read an animal. That's one thing about me that I can do. I can read an animal. And I'm blessed that I can read an animal. You spend enough time with them, you get to kind of know their habits. It's like you can read your children. You can read your lover. You can read people in your life, your significant others. You know when something's up. You just know. And you know what to expect. You can read all that kind of stuff. And I can read that Carl is happy to be here. Carl is happy to be here. And I've stopped making as many videos about Carl on Facebook because there was so much negativity. And I thought that Carl deserves better than that. Carl deserves better than to be bashed and put down and blamed for all of life's injustices. And Carl is too big of a part of this farm. And so I'm glad you watch YouTube, because I still play Carl videos on YouTube. Because for the most part, by and large, most YouTube folks, if they don't like the content of your video, they'll skip it. But on Facebook, people feel inclined to watch it and then just rip the heck out of it, tear it apart, tear it to shreds, if you will. So I'm gonna start showing more Carl videos on Facebook, but I'm going to give my mom and my dad and Sister Kim and anyone else who helps with the comments just to block, delete, and forever ban those people that come to the page. Because I used to, as a teacher, this may sound horrific when you hear someone say this who spent 26 years in a classroom, but I would never let a class of 30 fail, all because of the fault of one. In saying so, if you had that one student that, even though you try every method available to you, you seek every resource, you struggle to find a way to reach all of these kids, but if you have that one that refuses to meet you halfway and ends up slowly bringing down the class around him, what you have to do at some point is decide, you know what, I would rather sacrifice the one than to see all 30 fall behind and eventually fail. Or if it were for discipline reasons, I'd rather take that one and remove that child from the classroom, put that child somewhere else, so the other 29 kids can still maintain a functioning, dynamic, fun environment of a classroom. I hope that came out right. And so you don't like to give up on anybody. You don't want to give up on anybody. You want to try to foster them along and try to reach and find ways to connect to them. And so I don't want to give up on the folks that are so hateful on the page. I want to give them every opportunity to fix whatever's broken before they have to be blocked, banned, deleted, removed. But I'm going to get back this page. I'm going to fight to keep this page a fun place. I'm going to fight to keep this page a happy place. I'm going to fight, and I'm never going to quit on this page, even if it means quitting on certain individuals who seem like their only mission in life is to bring down the folks who love this page. And Carl is a part of this page, as is Adam or Steve or anybody else. And I hate to use the word guilty. Am I guilty of showing so much of Carl? This shirt of Adam or Steve comes from Kathy in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. And it's to Longhorn Lester. Thank you. Adam or Steve shirt. I swear I'm gonna get pretty hot if I put these shirts on. It's still, we're at the end of August here. But you know what? I think that you deserve to see your shirt being worn. Oh, I'm gonna be hot in all of this. But for the folks who did send shirts, I think you deserve to see it put on. This in here is actually going on over my my bulletproof vest. So thank you for this, Kathy. And we're gonna go ahead and throw on the Longhorn Lester and Carl shirt as well. Thank you for this. I'll go back inside the house and start unraveling all of this stuff, and Jamie will be like, what the heck? Wasn't there another shirt? Did I not put on another shirt? That's all. That's all. I hope I didn't skip anything. I get sometimes lost. All right, we're almost done. This says to Carl and Lester Morrow. I hope y'all get what I was saying when I said I would rather give up on a couple of lost souls than I would on an entire page of people who support and love this page. Oh, so on the front, Carl, our big feathered little, oh, I love that. I love this. I'm a Survivor Sanctuary in Plum Grove, Texas. This is going to fit. And if it doesn't, I'm going to grow into it. Or I may just wear it underneath or above all of this stuff so that it fits good, nice and snug. There we go. Look at that. Carl is so blessed, and thank y'all for loving and accepting him. He's not an easy one. I hope there was a name on this. So when it comes from Custom Ink, oh, here we go. A message for you. Dear Lester, I couldn't resist sending this t-shirt. I've been a fan since the start. Man, that's been a while. You know, we are almost at the 4-year anniversary. I believe in a week and a half or so, it was the first week of September. So in about a week, y'all, we'll be there when this place was wiped out from Hurricane Harvey. So anyway, you've been around for a while. I've been a fan, not a fan, we're a family member. I've been here as part of your family from the start. And I look forward to watching videos every morning with Coffee and Oscar and Felix, my cats. Love, Joni, I believe that says Hyler, from California. Man, I'm just very blessed that there's so many folks that enjoy what we do here and how we do it. We're not always right. We don't do everything the way you would do it. For those who know farm life, for many of you know there's a better, a simpler way. That's awesome. But we do things the way we like to do them, and we do learn on the go. And so I do hope that the page entertains you. I really do hope that the page entertains you and that you can get something out of it. A smile, a laugh, a giggle, a tear, But more than that, just you come away with a positive feeling. That's my ultimate goal. I want to be a light to this world. And I know that Ellie and you folks that are into the Bible and stuff, I know you know the reference I'm talking about when we should be a light to the world. And even though I may not do it in a religious way, I think I do it in a as much as a real person that I can be kind of a way. And being that I'm a real person, I am a person full of emotions and full of feelings. And I do have sometimes a lot of zest for life, and I do get loud, and I am sometimes obnoxious. And but I'm also a man who's full of love, not just for my family around me, even though I don't spend time with them. That sounds bad. I do love them, every last one of them, and I hope that my mom and dad would agree that I try to prove that to them in every way I possibly can. But I'm also not always well in the head, and so I try to balance the two. It's not for me. This is the last one that I can actually see. It says Lester and Jamie. I'll go ahead and open it. It's full of, oh boy. If this is another shirt, I'm in trouble, because I'm already wearing like 4. No, okay, this is not a shirt. This is like some kind of a quilt or a towel. I'm gonna hold this up for you all to see. Now I can't see it from there. I'm looking to the camera, but it's too far for me to see. I do see Journey. Oh, it's all Journey. This is all Journey. This is all Journey. Everything from her little handstand to her on the hay, her with LE, her with her head in a bucket, all Journey. And of course, her in the very center. Isn't it crazy what LE talked about recently? How for a little girl that was only here for a very short period of time, 4 months, that she could left such an impact. We can only hope that when we come to the end of our days, despite how long we are here, there will be people that will miss us. And I don't know why, but every time I see anything about Journey, I get very emotional. I'm very, very medicated. I'm not doing, I say heavily medicated. I have the testosterone pellets that are a slow dissolve. And so I have noticed so many things about me have changed for the better since I've gotten off the antidepressants. I do have an anxiety pill for only when needed, and I seldom take one. I did yesterday, but I haven't today, and I don't need to. This is not anxiety right here. This is just, maybe this is just real. Maybe this is just real. Because before, when I was on different antidepressants, it wasn't real. It was real, but it can't, emotions flowed, but it was because I didn't have a grip. But now I have a grip. And so I'm still full of emotions when it comes to certain objects and subjects, and Journey is one of those things. And I don't mind. So no Longhorn Lester right now, okay? Hey folks, Diane here. Journey was such a special girl, and I wanted to do something to honor her memory. I never thought myself as crafty, but as Journey taught me, you'll never know what you can do unless you try. Carl has not seen me cry yet. And even more importantly, you should do everything with joy and enthusiasm. And that she did. The enclosed items were made with that spirit. I love you, sweet Journey. I'm glad that Journey died peacefully. Every one of us know that at some point it'll be our last breath. And I am so happy that when Journey did pass, we never knew She never gave us any sign of her being sick or hurting. This has been very well put together. Why am I crying over glazed animal crackers? It looks like what she did was hot glued some glazed animal crackers into a small little bucket that reads, "It's always nighttime in heaven." What a great last gift. What an amazing last gift. Because I would not be able to go on with making this video like this. Where are we at, an hour? Oh, the unfortunate thing is not many people will ever see this because no one makes it an hour into a Lester video. Oh, what has she got here? Weren't we just talking about this? There are some who bring a light so great to the world that even after they have gone, their light remains. And shouldn't we all strive for that? I saw I watched the news. I don't like to watch the news, but I did. And there's so much going on in the world, y'all, with the stuff happening in Afghanistan. Those who have lost their lives and those that will lose their lives. This is not over with yet. There'll be some really good people that's going to die there. And then, of course, you have the hurricane that's hitting Louisiana this morning. Of course, you have COVID that just will not go away, along with so many other things in the world that if we're not personally affected, we should be counting our blessings. You know, we should be thankful of the people that the first responders and those guys in the military who are risking and putting their lives on the line to go help those who can't help themselves. And there's so many things that we should be grateful for. And so stuff like this, sitting here whining and crying and, oh, poor me, that mentality, that has to change. Because there's a lot bigger things in the world, you know. Thank y'all for spending this hour with me, for taking an escape from whatever you're going through. I hope that it provided you that. Thank you for the gifts and the goodies. Please remember to, as much as I love stuff like this, it's just so important to me that you take care of yourselves and your families first. We would never, ever feel right knowing that you do something for this family when you have your people who are struggling in your own world. That it's not right when that happens. I did forget one shirt, my Sean Connery shirt. Why not? Oh no. Tell you what. There we go. Boy, if I am not a mess. Has your mom or your grandma ever told you that story about be careful? You never, about your underwear, because you never know if you're gonna die or have a wreck and someone's gonna see your underwear or something. I sometimes wonder if I was to pass away on my way home from here after a gifting goodie, and the fire department or the ambulance guys show up and you know, they carry their own little knives, and they have to, if they had to cut me open to do the defibrillator or whatever they call that little device, or for whatever reason, they'd be like, zip. Think about that for a minute. And they'd be like, what the heck is going on with this guy? And then when they look at all of my shirts have my own name on them, they'll be like, whoa, what kind of a weirdo is this? But I want to thank you all. Let me walk over and say hi to Carl while you're here. That's the least we can do, huh? Now I have the phone in selfie mode. That makes it harder to always see. Hey, Carl! Carl! Come say hi. Oh, I see the happy hands. Oh, I love the happy hands, Carl. Daddy loves the happy hands. Oh boy, Carl sees the camera. Carl loves the camera. Look, Carl, I got some of your shirts on. Can you say thank you to everybody for loving you and for being accepting of our newest our biggest feathered baby little, or whatever the shirt said? Thank y'all for following the page and for loving Carl and for loving and accepting me with all of my flaws and insecurities. Carl's gonna dance for you all. Let's dance, Carl. If anyone can see me now. Woo! Carl likes the shirt. That's his mating dance, by the way. So I'm gonna get away from here while I can. Bye, Carl. I hope I didn't just embarrass myself on video. That's the worst thing, for Lester to have done something to embarrass himself on video.